Okay, thank you, Shanmukh, for giving me an opportunity and also to your management. I would like to share some information about the activity which we have been conducting at the institute and also which we have implemented. This is part of our Indo-UK project. A colleague of mine, Professor Umanand, also is involved in this project. So I will be talking about something on smart energy management, which we have implemented for the Indian Institute of Science campus. So that is the title which I have made, is development of smart energy management system for a typical microgrid. So typical microgrid, I refer to Indian Institute of Science as a microgrid here because our campus consists of around 440 acres. And we have tried to implement this energy management system. So this is uh, the work which has been done and has been uh, implemented at the IASC. So some of you, maybe after this pandemic, you are still welcome to visit the center and look into the facility which we have created. So a lot of activity, I hope people were discussing about the smart cities for last 3 days and maybe for tomorrow also. So smart cities, it is not only the city which is to be smart. There are several other things to be also of equal importance. So it could be like many things which we encounter in daily life. It could be the communication devices. It could be several networking, maybe LAN, wireless, many of these things. Apart from that, people would have already spoken about the building management and how the infrastructure for the smart cities to be there. Apart from that, a lot of, again, we have to look into various monitoring control of the vehicular movement and vehicles, the charging system, new type of arrangements to be done, smart homes people talk about, and you must have been already known some of the information from various experts about how the smart homes, smart cities, several of these things do come under the smart city projects, including the telemedicine, healthcare, everything which we encounter in daily needs. So in that, I would try to show a very small component. That is, one of that is the energy consumption or the energy management, how it can be done in a smart way, and what we have tried to do it at the campus. So that is the information which I would like to share. So before actually going into the implementation part of our thing, what is the smart energy management system or energy management system which we normally discuss? So energy management system is basically, most of you know, is an interdisciplinary area. This requires several concepts from different fields to make the system to function. It could not only be the one particular area where this will help us. So it could be communication, it could be electrical engineering, it could be civil engineering, it could be mechanical, it could be several of these fields together to make everything smart. So it is not only the energy part, electrical engineers will be able to do all the work. So we have to develop new monitoring and control mechanisms because these are required for proper planning. It could be of electricity generation and also distribution. So generation and distribution, I'm not talking globally. Right now, it could be at the local level. So there could be chances of we generating because of the renewables which are being come over last decade or so. It could be solar, it could be wind, it could be somewhere diesel, it could be many of these things. And how can it be smartly distributed at the local level? That is one of the point which I would like to make. So then if you are a larger area, installation of solar with grid integration, or going in for solar thermal with grid integration, sometimes batteryless grid integration where entire generation is being properly utilized in a smart way. And also this will help us, this energy management system will help in any of the faults or failures which do occur during any of the cases. And proper planning for the load management, how in future the loads could be uh, adding up to the existing system or several of these factors. So does the real-time monitoring help us in controlling the wide area measurements or distributed uh, measurements which we are being done? So these are all the things which we would like to show some of this where we have tried to attempt in making an energy management system or a smart monitoring system, what we call at the campus microgrid. the main objective of our work was to ensure that we have to build a multi-model system, particularly towards saving of energy and cost. Why this point? Because at Indian Institute of Science, we consume somewhere around 36 to 38 lakh units of power, and monthly billing is around 3 crores. So this is the typically money which we pay to the electricity authorities. So this is where we thought, can we bring down some of the cost? Can we properly do the savings of the energy which we are consuming? And the next is the reduction of the carbon footprint, both at the personal and the community level. Community level, at the campus, we have the housing, we have the hostels, we have several residential locality. So could we bring down some of these costs? That was the intention. And we also thought whether we can get some information through developing some intelligent sensors or which are available at the market level, and see whether this can be properly utilized for, in particularly for energy harvesting. Then we thought of the energy network, because our institute is more than 110 years old, where we had earlier not properly done the entire architecture, and we do not have the proper infrastructure pertaining to the electrical engineering aspect, or its monitoring and also the billing aspect. Till date, very recently, up to last 1 year, what used to happen is we used to have one single meter at the entry of the 66 kV substation, where the number of units consumed, as I was mentioning, around 36 to 38 lakh units, and the money which is somewhere around 3 crores, the billing comes and the entire institute pays for that. That is how it happens. We did not have an individual meter, the consumption of the departments or the consumption of the residential quarters. So in that way, we had no proper things were moving on. Because of this, we thought, could we have detailed information about how this could help us not only in bringing down the cost, and also help us to do some activity which we can implement at the local level. So that is where we try to make some decisions with the distributed processing real time, and obtain the information mainly for the analysis and also for research purpose. So the planning was done in a way. This figure, I hope you're able to see here. We have both. The red arrow indicates the power flow to the institute. The green color indicates the information flow through the sensors which we have housed at different locations. So here, the source which I mentioned, here you can see the red arrow which is passing here. I call it as a node master, or here it is MUSS, that is master unit substation. So we have an input from the electricity authorities, which is at 66 kV bar 11 kV. So we get the supply from BESCOM at 66 kV, we bring down to 11 kV. From the 11 kV of the master unit substation, we do have two transformers which are taking care of this supply. From here, we have again distributed with totally 25 substations. This is where SS1 is one substation, SS25. So similarly, we have 25 substations which operate at 11 kV bar 440 volts. So these 25 substations do feed to the required departments, laboratories, residential quarters, or several of these things. So each substation typically feeds around 4 to 5 or 6 departments depending upon the load. At the institute, we have more than 45 to 46 departments. We have utilities, we have hostels, several of these things. So the load is being properly distributed using these substations. So now the information which the power flows is given. Similarly, we have tried to ensure that all the substations, all the departments, all the units, all the areas have been, sensors have been put at different locations, and we are trying to get the details of all the power related aspects. It could be the power factor, it could be the voltage, it could be the current levels, it could be active power flow, it could be several harmonic contents. So several of this information is being got, and we have tried to establish the video wall dashboard. So entire information of the complete campus network, which is around 440 acres, the information is obtained at the dashboard, where you can pinpointedly see the consumption of the department or a lab or the floor of that particular department. So this is how we have tried to do it. We took around 1.5 years rigorously doing a lot of work. And here I would like to mention the smart metering which we have tried to use are commercially available. The software and the data loggers are developed by our team here. One of the team member was a former student of our institute. So we have tried to use, and that way we have tried to implement this project. Apart from this 440 acres, we have installed more than 260 smart meters across the campus, and few of the smart meters are also been installed at our second IISc campus, which is 250 kilometers from Bangalore. This is at Challakere, Chitradurga district. So we also get some power information or power flow information from the Chitradurga campus. So this is how the implementation has been done. This slide gives you the information of different rings, main connectings. We have 5 rings. As I was mentioning, we have 25 substations. So out of these 25 substations, we have tried to have ring mains connected. Earlier, it was a radial connections from the main master unit substation to different departments or so. So many times during the power failure, the department used to be affected. So now we have gone in for a ring-based system. So we have tried to pool in each ring. Say ring 1 consists of this number of substations. Similarly, ring 2, ring 3, which are of very important, where power interruption is to be minimal. In such cases, we have tried to see that these rings, in case of some transformer on the way, get affected or being disturbed. So immediately the connection, with the help of the load break switch, we connect it to the other transformer which is nearby, and the power is restored within a very short period of time. So these ring mains have been done for the entire campus. Depending upon the load of each of the departments, we have made 5 rings. Yeah, I was mentioning that a typical microgrid is nothing but the Indian Institute of Science, which we have considered as a microgrid here. Our campus is 440 acres of land, consisting of several 45 to 50 departments, residential quarters, students' hostels, many of the other utilities. It could be like guest houses. It could be the many of the restaurants and several on. So here, as I was earlier mentioning about, we require the consumption somewhere around 8 megawatts. So this is the typical requirement of the campus, and we are presently having a 10 megawatt maximum demand. Future, yes, there are a lot of departments which are being going in for the higher number of gadgets or equipments, or further departmental activities being further done. So where we require much more power. So this is where we are trying to go in for the extra power. Here we thought some of this power which we are trying to use from the electricity board can be offload to a certain extent by going for green energy or renewable based energy. This was the thought some years back, and this is where we tried to look into the institute profile and see how we can try to put up the solar PV installations without disturbing the normal activity. So initially we have done the audit of a rooftop of the entire area which is available on the campus, and we have also ensured in future the departments are not going to come up with any additional floors. In such cases, the audit of rooftop has been done, taking into consideration of all the shading, large trees, several of these aspects have been considered. And we have tried to do the department-wise energy audit, and we have estimated the life cycle costing analysis, and we have implemented the sensors at different locations. A smart metering activity has been done so that the information flow could be obtained at the video wall or the information center. So this shows the Google map, which I have slightly made it to a gray color. And this entire information, what you see on the Google map is the IISc layout, which consists of 440 acres. The blank areas, it could be AA, BA, CA, and few these things are the open spaces at the campus. It could be the Gymkhana grounds or the open space where we are not allowed to put any solar PV installations. So wherever the area which is in gray color, departments are shown in thicker brown colors here. So on the departmental rooftop, available space only on the departmental rooftop where there will be no activity of construction in future. So that area has been estimated And we have tried to do a rigorous work, and we have tried to find out we can get around 47,755 square meter area without any disturbing the normal activity. So taking into consideration the solar PV efficiency of the panels and things like that, we have tried to estimate for 10% efficiency, 12 and 16%. So with the 16%, presently all of you know people talk about 22 or 24% efficiency of the panels. Even with considering the 16% efficiency, we have estimated we could generate somewhere around 7.64 megawatts. So our present requirement is 8 megawatts. So this is where we seriously thought, and this was taken up, and also the project which we were able to get from the Indo-UK, we tried to pull some resources for this project. So 7.6 megawatt is the total installation. But as you know, initially the cost could be very high. So we are trying to go in a stepwise manner and ensure that slowly the entire institute goes for the solar installation, where we can bring down the cost which we are paying to the electricity authority. That is where our intention. Now we have almost more than 1.2 megawatts of solar PV installations at different departments, wherever the funds and wherever the availability of the space was planned. So we have started the work for last one year plus. So we have established more than 1.2 megawatts at the solar PV installations. So apart from the solar, we also have emergency in case of power goes off. We have diesel generating plants which are of 4 megawatts, 2 megawatts each. And this is where we thought several of these resources. Apart from that, each department has its own small DG sets. It could be of 300 kilowatts or 400 or 500 or 700 kilowatts. So where locally, immediately when the power goes, some of the departments do require the uninterrupted power. So we try to pool and see how efficiently all these things could be integrated and could be properly utilized. That is one of the intention. Yeah, what you see here is the master unit substation of the Indian Institute of Science incoming supply, which from the BESCOM, we get a 66 kV, 11 kV at the receiving end from our side. So after that, it is again, we have 25 substations where this 11 kV is fed, and 440 we obtain at the substation output, and that is fed to the departments. Now, which I was mentioning, some of the solar installations for last 1.5 year, which we have tried to put up on the rooftop, are some of the pictures which have shown here. These are the diesel generating plants which we have 2 megawatts. So we try to integrate solar diesel generating units, and many of this we do also have a battery backup for the supercomputer department, where in case of the failure of power, we have a diesel generator. In case of diesel generator failure, we should have a backup. So that is where we have a huge chunk of battery backup without disturbing the normal activity for the students' research and many of the projects which are being carried out. So all these are properly being monitored, connected, and this is where the energy management comes into the picture. And we have tried to see how this could be used for the institute. So the sensors are which are being used for the smart meter, as I was mentioning. So smart metering has been used for the energy management system at the campus. So why smart metering? Many of the experts, or maybe a few of the experts, would have already talked about the smart metering, some aspects about that. I may not go details into the manufacturing, the contents and other aspects. So I would like to focus the importance and how we have implemented here. So smart metering basically is used to measure the power. It can measure the energy, yes, like earlier meters. Apart from that, we can also have the information about the phase and line voltages, phase and line currents, the power factor information, phase imbalance, which is very, very important for us, because as I was mentioning, it's a very old institute. Many of the departments, we do not have proper planning. So where the departments get some of the equipments without looking into the balance, we do connect some equipment. Some phases are more than 80% loaded, some are 20%, some are less than that. So in that way, we have a lot of phase imbalances across the institute. So that is where the smart metering or sensor-based information is being available to us, and we are going in for a corrections of these things. So peak demands, yes, we can look into that. What is the peak demand of each of the department by going in for this? And power down periods, when is that we can go in for shutdown, depending upon the log of the entire department activity for over a period of time. Harmonic distortions, yes, these are all the things which are available using the smart metering. Apart from that, we have again developed some information for us. So where the weekly and monthly information can be obtained from our different departments. We also get the peak demand alerts, fault alerts. The fault alerts could be anywhere in the campus in case there is some short circuit activity or many of these things. So anybody noticing, the students, faculty, or somebody connected with the institute can send an information to the concerned maintenance section. That particular section is under there is a fault which is happening, so the rectification can be done, and complaint alert similarly. And as mentioned earlier, we have also made a video wall monitoring system. So this video wall monitoring system is housed at the Interdisciplinary Center for Energy Research, which I mentioned is the project of Indo UK funded the project. So some people who are interested are still welcome prior information writing an email to us. So you can see how the entire information of the campus is being seen here. Apart from that, we have two more places where we do monitor at regular activity. And we can also, many of our people who are involved in this can look into, we have also developed the apps where we can see in our mobiles also. So what is this smart energy management? I have just talked about the smart metering and few sensors which we have used. So typically, this entire management system consists of the following. You can see, this is just an input of the distribution line, which distribution box in any of the departments or any of the hostels or any of the utilities at the campus. So at the entry, you have a distribution box, either it is a single phase or a three phase. You have a CT which is being used for the measurements of the current transformer, what we call. So from the current transformer, this is the terminals, two terminals go to the smart energy meter. Here normally CTs of all the departments, we do connect the smart meter. If it is in case of a HT, there is extra high tension or high tension connections, then we use the PT terminals. So that is the only difference. Apart from that, everything remains same. So for the smart metering, we do have an auxiliary supply, which is through the switch mode power supply, SMPS, which is basically important in case of the power failure. It should be uninterrupted. That is the reason here. And one of the terminal of the smart meter is connected to a data logger through a Modbus here. See, this data logger basically connects to the meter through Modbus, and this data logger can take minimum of 4 smart meter devices. So 4 smart meters can be connected to a single data logger, because the data logger is important and it is a bit of costly. So that is where we try to optimize and see whether we can bring down the number of smart meters. I was mentioning 260, but the data loggers may not be 260. So depending upon the departments, we have tried to look into that aspects also. So further, this data logger stores the information, and entire information presently we have a minute by minute information. It is not seconds, which we do not want because a lot of memory is required. So what we do is the information to the data logger to the server. This is basically a server. So the server is fed regularly, and most of you know, if the substations are far off, sometimes the LAN connectivity may not be there. Entire information flow is through the LAN, that is a local area network, or the Wi-Fi, or in case both are not available and it is difficult to get the signals. In such cases, we do have a modem where the maintenance engineer carries the modem every week. Whatever the information which is stored will be transferred to the modem, and from the modem we transfer to the data logger. This is how it is done in 3 ways. And finally, whatever the information which is of real in nature is again taken back for various applications, which I was mentioning you. We try to use the data and try to find out, like it could be the power flow, it could be the active power, reactive power, voltage, currents, power factor, harmonic content, failure analysis, when exactly the failure happened. So several of these things can be analyzed, and we have what is known as the application part. So this is a simple schematic which I would like to show at the institute which we have implemented. So for the applications, yes, we have three layers for the solution. One is, as I mentioned, is the data acquisition. It is through the data loggers, and further data loggers are communicated to the server, and then we take up the analysis wherever whichever analysis is required depending upon the requirement. So further to that, various applications, so each application could be different. We try to find the active energy, we try to find out the reactive power, we try to find out energy imported. Several of these things can be seen in our application which we have tried to develop. And not only that, what we have tried to do is we are trying to inform each of the departmental heads or the chairmen of the department or the chairman of the units that so much of power is being consumed. At every month, we do send the local billing as per the rate of the BESCOM, which they charge to the institute. And we inform the departmental heads how much power has been consumed and how much money the department is being using it. So in that way, and also apart from that, we do send the departmental information about the phase imbalances every month, how the three phases of the department are loaded, where the corrections can be done in case of abnormalities. And we do help that departments in coming out with the load imbalances with our team. So this is how we are trying to use this entire information of the smart management system. So as I mentioned earlier, smart meters are mounted at major entry levels, that is the department entry levels, or at the utility, or it could be at any of these hostels or several of this place where we have put up. And data loggers do read the registers of smart meter and transmit the data over the network to a server, and server pre-process the data and store sequentially in the database. So we have been getting this data for last 1.5 years. So this was a total 4-year project which is supposed to end in August 2021. So we are 1 year ahead. We have implemented and we are getting the information for last 1.5 years. So first 1 year we tried to establish the facility, and for last 1.5, 2 years we are able to get the information. And for last 1 year plus we are able to completely establish, completely look into that. We had calibration of all the information which we have been procuring, and that information is being also fed to each of the departments. So we have also supervised analysis to look in case of deviation, in case there are any alerts or any issues rising out of the sensors or from the smart meter aspects. So in that way, we have also developed the fault detection and diagnosis wherever it happens. And we have a distribution network status, billing management, monthly reports which are being generated and sent to the departmental heads, and energy conservation planning for future loads which are going to be added, and also at the personalized role based access. So several of these informations are being presently used, and some more could be added in near future. These are all the things which we are trying to develop. Yeah, this gives the, again, I'm putting back the map of IISc, where the installation of smart meters, the red points indicate the installation of the smart meters across the entire campus where the activity is happening. It could be the centers, departments, or the utilities where like restaurants and many of these places. So each and every corner of the department, the power consumptions which are happening is being recorded and is being transmitted. Apart from this campus, I told a few of the meters are also located at the Challakere, where we are also able to get the information. I did mention about the competency of our monitoring system. As I told, this bar graphs may not be very clear. So this gives the information of all the departmental, it could be energy imported, it could be the power factor, it could be the phase imbalances, it could be the current which is being consumed at the departments. So this gives the entire departments, and this horizontal bar gives the power consumption of some of the departments, which may not be very clear. Similarly, energy for other departments, I told you all 45 or 50 departments, it is displayed here. And we also know which are the top 10 and which are the important departments which we have to look into that. And apart from that, we also have several parameters which we measure and we take into consideration for the maintenance, proper maintenance. This again gives some information about the master unit substation, where you can see the voltage of 3 different phases at the institute level. This gives the active power at the substation, that is a master unit substation. So all this information at the various substations, various departments. So various profiles of the parameters can be obtained at a minute interval, and it can be used for looking into the failure analysis or any of this activity, and how the departmental consumption, where to bring down the consumption, how to alert the departments, and so on. I did tell that we had already installed somewhere around 1.2 megawatt of solar PV at different locations of the campus. So right now what we are doing is we are installed at the department level, and that locally we are trying to feed it to the department at the local grid itself, and we are trying to reduce the cost of the consumption or the energy consumption of that particular. This shows one of the solar power to the grid at one particular locations where we have installed. This right side graph or the shows where the heat map, which gives an indication in case there is unhealthy situation. So it is indicated in either in a orange or a red color, where we immediately look into that and ensure that particular phase or that particular department is hinted, and where proper loads which are connected can be reduced, so that there could be no short circuit or damage to the systems there. These are a few more of the solar PV generations at different departments. This is one at Department of Electronic System Engineering, for where we have tried to put up there 3 different levels taken at sunny, that is partially sun, and when it is full sun in the mid day, and during the rainy season. So we have tried to see that the consumption when it is 50 megawatt plant, giving some more than 29 in case of sunny, and so on. So this is where we have looking into the various parameters, consumption, and also the information of the generation, and we can pull it as required and integrate it to the institute levels. One of the important aspects which we were looking is the phase imbalances. So we can see here all these are the different departments. The bars, horizontal bars, are the phase imbalances of each of the departments. So there are several departments which I told you institute is 110 years old. Many of the departments, when the new equipment comes, we were not very concerned about the loading aspects. Many of the equipments got added without proper planning. That is where a lot of departments do have phase imbalances. Sometimes it exceeds more than 2 to 2 times of one particular phase. So this is where one of the departments or two of the departments did have a short circuit, and there were some minor incidents. So we are now taking into consideration wherever the phase imbalances are pretty high, we ensure that they should be brought down, or the load balances have to be properly done at the department level. So this could bring down the phase imbalances at the department level also. So here our management or smart energy management is playing a very important role, particularly in looking into the phase balance of all the phases at the department levels and at the entire institute level, in fact. I did tell you that billing aspect, every month from our microgrid monitoring facility, we generate a billing and as per the BESCOM charges, and each departmental head or a chairman of the department is supplied with the information what the department or what each department consumes, how much of the power consumption. If he has 2 floors, how much is the first floor, how much is the second floor, and how much is the money which is going to be consumed by that particular department. So this billing management, which is again developed by us, is being sent to each of the departmental chairman, along with the profile of the apparent power which is consumed. You can see the 3 different colors here. So blue, red, and yellow, where we indicate that how the phase balancing or a phase loading is happening at that department. So these 2 information every month is supplied to the departmental chairs. So wherever the abnormality does, so departmental chair takes into consideration, with the help of the power committee or a power establishment at the estate office, proper corrections do happen, and it is being planned. Yes, as I mentioned, we took more than 1 year to do all this exercise. It is not an easy exercise. We tried to implement. There are some minor issues even a date because of the data loggers or because of some local department level disturbing the information flow to us. So there, without knowing or by mistake, it happens where the example data logger, which is connected in the distribution box, suddenly gets disturbed and the information flow may not be. So we have to run around that and try to see that these things do again get connected. So some of these issues happen because it's a very old institute. A lot of distribution boxes are very old. So our data loggers are to be taken into consideration at regular intervals. And also we ensure the information is being fed at a minute data to each of the departments to the center, that's a monitoring station. And one thing I forgot, whatever the distribution box which has meters earlier, ammeter or a voltmeter which used to read. So our smart meter can only be same place where the earlier your ammeter was there. So just remove the ammeter and we have fixed the smart meter in that junction. And this is the data logger which is there. And this is the SMPS which is for the data logger. There are some minor issues which do crop up. We do take care of these things. Yes, this is one of the photographs which I would like to share. This facility was inaugurated on 14th August 2018 by our director, Professor Anurag Kurmat, the then director. The facility, which we call it as a microgrid monitoring facility. This is housed at the Interdisciplinary Center for Energy Research, where we are trying to get the information from August 2018. This is our input 66 kV line, which is coming from the BESCOM. So I try to put this information just to show that how our energy management system is able to pinpointedly find out the failure data or a failure analysis, or what was the sudden inrush current during that failure where it happened. So the failure was nothing. Here you can see one of the conductor, that is the earth conductor, which is on the top, got disconnected from this tower and it simply fell on the live conductor. So there was a dead short between the phase and the earth connectivity, and suddenly the power had to be completely the power tripped, and it took a lot of time because it is not our side. The BESCOM people have to come and attend the connections to this. So this is where such cases, one or two cases I would like to share, where our management or software management system has helped us to pinpointedly ensure that what was the typical time which it happened and what is the amount of that time, the current when it tripped, and the activity when it happened. So these are all some of the things which we have been benefited out of this thing. The second is similar activity, as I was mentioning. Many of the cables which ourselves we do not know, there is no proper drawings, because 110 years back they had put a lot of cables. So sometimes we do a lot of work for the constructions or putting up the it could be your optical links or going in for new cabling. So during that, lot of problems do encounter, and there could be a cable damage and power which could be disturbed to several of the departments. So such failure events also are recorded at the campus, where this is completely unknowingly which has happened. So such things have been done. Now we have ensured that entire institute we have cable diagrams where the cables are running from the substations, each of the substations to the departments, and now we have all soft copy and hard copies of this. So we are ensuring that these type of accidents do not happen, and there could be proper monitoring because of this, which we have tried to see. That was about the implementation part, which we have done. So we also look into a little bit of research activity. So that is where we thought. So a couple of students are working in this area. I told you this is an Indo-UK joint project. So further, we thought of working towards the demand side energy management framework. And we have tried to see, can we use a non-intrusive load monitoring techniques for the proper load monitoring. So that is one of the things which we try to ensure. So this is again with the collaboration of the University of Loughborough at UK and Warwick at UK. So these two universities, we have a direct collaboration where we have the entire information which is being collected is being also shared with them, and they have also developed a software we do try to use their models particularly and compare the method which we are using here, non-intrusive load monitoring techniques, for the distribution management. So this is the framework and monitoring which we try to see. This is a source and this is a load. Say it is a user, how the source monitoring and the load monitoring is done with the help of non-intrusive load monitoring analytics. So as I mentioned, we have various loads. It could be the diesel, it could be the solar, it could be the regular power supply, which is done. We are trying to ensure a properly distribution. So wherever the excess of load is there, we can try to ensure that if it is not required, so distribution can be properly planned. That is where this non-intrusive load monitoring techniques are being used. One of the student is trying to use it for his research work, where he is trying to work on the factorial hidden Markov model using this non-intrusive load monitoring techniques for his work, where he has tried to look into the power disaggregated data of various components. So we have tried to initially study about the guest houses. This typical data is about the guest house which is at our Challakere campus. So where we try to ensure that can we get the each of the equipment signature, because here at the institute level switching off all the loads trying to understand is very difficult. So at Challakere we try to get this information of various components or equipments. It could be submersible pumps, it could be the heaters, it could be the fridge, it could be the TV, it could be several of these things. So we have tried to first take the signatures of all the equipments and try to analyze the data and how to actually understand the power consumption and see how it can be disaggregated based on the available information. That is where he is trying to use the non-intrusive load monitoring technique for his work. So this is a data which is being obtained, and also the method which is trying to use it for various appliances, say air conditioner, pump, various type of motors which are existing. So he is trying to fit his model with the practical data and then see how he can use his method. And apart from that, we are also trying to use it the models which are developed by the Loughborough University, that I will also give a hint about in the future slide. So here the candidate has tried to set up information technology based energy management system, where he has developed a prototype. Again, we have tried to put up a smart meter here. He has a wireless or a Wi-Fi modules, and he is trying to understand for various, it could be applications, where it could be fan, it could be the pumps, it could be AC, it could be several of these things. So he uses a Python back end server for his prototype, and this is how the schematic looks, where he has tried to implement for his research activity. Apart from that, he has tried to develop apps where he can monitor the entire information of the power flow and also control through the apps. So he has tried to ensure that a proper energy consumption data can be obtained, and he can also try to ensure that where the activity or a control or a monitoring can be done. So this is a small activity, research activity, parallelly apart from the implementation of our project. So coming to the conclusions, yes, we have installed smart metering or sensors for data logging. We have developed a web browser-based graphic user interface, and installation has been done. A multi-model system towards saving energy and cost is developed. Implementation of typical microgrid, which consists of multiple generation technology. It could be solar PV or integrated building PV also we have at the campus. Diesel generating sets, all these things are integrated and have been implemented. We have put up smart energy management sensors, which are developed and implemented at the entire campus, and more than 260 nodes have been connected, not only in the campus, even at the second campus at Challakere. We have established a video wall energy dashboard to monitor, analyze, and also control entire locations. This acts as an eye to the campus energy management system. We can also predict of energy usage to make appropriate control decisions, particularly for maintenance and also activation. As I told, a framework for demand-side energy management with non-intrusive load monitoring techniques have been developed, and smart monitoring for both source and load are also developed. And recently, we have also published this work in one of the IEEE transaction in industrial application very recently. Prototype has also been developed to provide both monitoring as well as control for the same platform. I did mention that non-intrusive load monitoring technique data is compared with the CREST model. This is CREST is the CREST model, which is developed by the Loughborough University at UK. We have a regular exchange of the data between Indian Institute of Science and Loughborough. We jointly work together in the Indo-UK project. So with this, I end my talk. So again, acknowledgement to the Indian Institute of Science for giving us a lot of time, money, and many of the things, because I am being one of the power committee member of this Indian Institute of Science. It was easy for us to implement this project along with my colleague Professor Umanand, where we jointly work in this Indo-UK project. And we were able to successfully do this small job and implement, and presently we are trying to use this facility. So thank you all for the patient listening. Any questions I will be able to take pertaining to the project. And again, I welcome you to the institute after this pandemic, or sometimes if somebody is interested to look into the facility. So thank you all. I will like to take the questions. Thank you, Shanmukh Sundar, and the management of the Department of Electrical Engineering and the Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering and Technology. Thank you.
There is one question.
Yeah.
Can we have dedicated resources, energy resources for smart cities from the participant?
Dedicated energy resources depends on the loads which you have. Whether if it is a load which is only during the daytime, yes, solar can be recommended and that can be used. So smart cities, basically, see, it could be having the industries, it could be having evening some of the loads. So depending upon the entire load management, we have to properly plan. Yes, it could be not only the electricity supply, it could be the renewables, which can also be used with the battery backup, and properly plan it. Yes, this I did not mention. We are trying to, because of the time, we have also tried to see where our second campus at Challakere, we are establishing what is known as a zero energy campus. And we have already given this proposal. We will be implementing completely 100% through the renewables, wherein we are going in for battery backup with all, including taking consideration of the hybrid vehicle points at various locations. So through the solar, we try to see that proper backup is there during the night also. And we have done the load management for the entire campus. This we will be implementing maybe a year or two. I don't know, that is in the pipeline. So yes, it is possible for a smart cities, unless complete load information is available, and what are the type of loads, depending upon that, the generations which are available to you, or going for the generations which you want to go in. So we have to properly look into various aspects. So simply I cannot mention yes or no, depends on the load and future loads which are added, and what type of loads. Hello, hope I have answered.
Okay, there is another participant. Thank you so much, sir. Do we have any apps, or the apps are under progress for smart city process, like energy management and water management?
Yes, this again, apps for entire smart cities, I do not have an idea. There could be, I don't know, because there are people who are working in a larger scale. To my knowledge, yes, we have tried to develop for a local level. We have developed an app for the smart monitoring of the entire campus. We have developed that. And for water, yes, I am also a consultant to Bangalore Electrical Works for the Kempegowda layout. So where L&T is doing the job. So we have tried to give them some feedback about it is a part of the smart city where it is going to come up, where institute also is involved, where civil engineering, Professor Mohan Kumar and other faculty are also from civil, and me and Professor Umanand are also involved in the electrical side. So we have given substantial feedback, and we have a lot of interactions with the people who are working from the L&T side. Yes, this should be definitely possible. It is not a very difficult thing. Globally, yeah, there could be, I do not have the information. We have at local level, apps are developed for our usage.
So one more question with respect to the Bangalore scenario.
Yeah.
What is the energy management policy that you?
A Bangalore scenario, yes, you have unlimited, several industries. So I don't know whether we have, I can definitely tell at the Bangalore we have a very nice southern load dispatch center from the central government and also state load dispatch center. You should visit this state load dispatch center, which is being from our BESCOM. They have done a fantastic job, not now, 20 years or 15 years back. So where they're able to completely get the information of various generations across the Karnataka. It could be the renewables, it could be the regular hydro, it could be the thermal, it could be the nuclear. Several of these things are so nicely done. And I request the participant, whoever has asked, to kindly visit this state load dispatch center, which is situated at Bangalore place. But other, apart from this distribution level, there, I don't know it is locally whether it is done or not. But at the generation, it is done, and it is very being monitored at the load dispatch center, state load dispatch center at Bangalore.
Okay, one more question. Is there any time frame to finish implementing smart meters in cities?
Yes, definitely. That involves again depends upon the area of the smart city, what type of money backup, what type of technical backup, planning, everything. So you cannot. We were given a target. I can just only tell about our implementation. So total project was for 4 years. We had to finish off in 2 years. In fact, we did it in 1.5 years. So if you have a proper planning, identification of the resources, identification of the technical information, and proper planning, definitely it can be done. But smart cities, it is not a small thing. We have done it for 440 or 450 acres of our campus. In case of large cities, a lot of other things also do come up. Sometimes there could be issues of the public where some information flow, it could be installation of some of the things. So I cannot give the exact number of days or years. Yes, with proper planning, everything is definitely possible. I cannot say for one smart city it takes 1 year. No, I cannot say that. In our case, yes, I told you it is for 8 megawatts. We were able to do that, and we were able to plan it within a time frame of 1.5 year. And for last 1.5 year, we are able to get the data also.
Okay, next question. What kind of dashboard is used for energy management?
No, we have told you basically a Zango DJ and Zio, and we have written our own code here. We have tried to use our team here, 2 or 3 people. We have written our own code, and this again, I tell you, we have tried to verify this with the existing software models or other monitoring models from the UK and also other places where it is available. So this code is our own thing where we have tried to see.
Last question, we will take it up. There are some more questions are there. Last question, we will take it up. Is there any new technologies which helps the energy management?
Yeah, new technology because of number of various resources. It could be renewable addition, it could be wind, solar, and many of these locally being added to the existing power, which could be hydro, thermal, or something. There are some issues which related to the grid integration part that everybody knows. So a lot of power electronics do come into the picture, and these power electronics sometimes help us, and sometimes they also have problems with like harmonics and many of these things. So a lot of devices are being there, trying to counter these aspects. A lot of challenges, people are working, devices are available, things are being done. It is not that I don't want to always go in the pessimistic way. We are optimistic. Yes, definitely everything is possible with the planned time, planned way, and going in for with dedication and looking in with various, taking into consideration of various aspects.
Okay, thank you. So somebody are asking your contact mail.
Yeah, contact mail Subba Reddy, Indian Institute of Science. Just type in Google, everything is available.
Yeah, that's the thing. So one more. So thank you very much, Dr. Subba Reddy, for your presentation. So before ending, so request our faculty member Mansa Madam to give vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for making this talk. It's about energy management, framework, and monitoring. And which consists of patient sets. That is was very good. You also system for told about the action, on-site management with also the pro as well as the very informative from this point of view.